Elevated when I get to the penthouse. On top and on my own, I feel like I'm Moses. In spiritual science, you know I'm devoted. I'm pulling your rank, you got demoted. I just want the money, I don't want the fame. It's you and I verse, so you know my name. Welcome to Mental Gymnastics. I am your host, Professor Zeus, and today we got some interesting stuff to talk about. Now, life is just so funny. First and foremost, I'd like to send condolences to the families affected by the tragedy of those people who went in the submarine. If you haven't heard about that story, 5 individuals went on a rescue mission to visit the Titanic, the sunken Titanic, and unfortunately something happened along the excursion, and unfortunately we believe that they've perished. It's really unfortunate. Not too long ago, there was also a ship full of 750 migrants around Greece or something that, a lot of people were also lost to. So just sending condolences to all those families affected first and foremost. Now, today we'll be talking about the U.S. approving chicken made from cultivated cells, the nation's first lab-grown meat. I think this is pretty interesting. Full disclosure and transparency, I used to be vegan, but with the proper education and things like that, I think the more proper term should be plant-based. With vegan, there's like soy and different stuff, and if you really want to go that route, you have to really go the raw vegan route. Raw fruits, raw vegetables. But this is something completely different. I don't know what to call it, but I've made a lot of connections with it. I've been noticing that not too long ago that a lot of farms have been burning down, and they've always meant to mention the amount of chickens that have also perished during these fires at farms. So it's very interesting, the timing of having the U.S. approving, basically synthetic meat for the U.S. to eat, for citizens to eat, while at the same time we have a influx of farms burning and chicken burning. And this actually isn't a new phenomenon. I've actually done some research, and there have been plenty of times throughout, the last 10 years where farms have, caught on fire, and different things like that. So I want to show you guys these articles, and you guys let me know what you think. But before we get into that, if you want to support this channel, just head over to youandiverse.co. You can purchase 720 Degrees of Ascension, the paperback or the ebook. You can purchase a copy. I have a lot of stuff in there, a lot of spiritual science. It gets real in here. You know what I mean? It gets real in here. Yeah, started the light. Right. Yeah. Also like and subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, let's start. So let me first share this first article. Yeah, so U.S. approves chicken made from cultivated cells, the nation's first lab-grown meat. They have a video here. Let's see what's going on.
Getting USDA approval now opens up the pathway for us to sell cultivated meat here in the biggest market in the world, in a place that's one of the biggest meat producers in the world, and I think lends a lot of credibility towards what this is going to be in the future. So it'll be a momentous, historic moment for the food industry. So often anything that's new, whether it's an electric car or it's ChatGPT, it feels strange, a little peculiar initially. But after a period of time, it becomes ubiquitous and boring. And That's eventually the path for cultivated meat.
So, I mean, for the most part anyway, a lot of our food is processed, but looking at what these guys are doing currently, do you think this is like a whole different phenomenon? Because to me, this is crazy.
So, cultivated meat, put really simply, is real meat that is grown from animal cells. So, if you imagine the meat that we have loved and eaten for tens of thousands of years, the meat that we cultivate is actually biologically the same, but it's made in a whole new way. So,
Okay,
after
so the meat is essentially the same, I guess, with protein, um, fat, all those different things, but it's just made in a different way. Made in a different way. Okay.
7 to 14 days or a little longer, depending on what we're making, we harvest the cells and then we can make it into any meat product that you love. So our first product will be chicken fillets, but we are working on an entire portfolio first of chicken, and then following that will be beef and
Wow, that looks crazy.
other species as well. But then absolutely
It
our
looks like a
goal
dumpling. Like,
in the mid to long term is to go into grocery stores and retail and for consumers to be able to experience and buy upside meat everywhere where they would be used to buying meat.
So the hurdles are the size of the investment, the scaling up, and who are you targeting as a customer? And especially who is going to eat this? If you're not forced
who is gonna eat this? Would you? Would you guys? Let's keep watching.
to eat lab-grown meat, while you will be eating lab-grown meat.
For some period of time, I would say it's at least 2 years, probably more than that. It'll be very small volumes. So think less than 5,000 pounds sold. And ultimately to get to a point where no matter who you are, if you're hearing this, it'll be in your local grocery store, in your local restaurant, we'll need to build much larger infrastructure.
For the first time, U.S. regulators on Wednesday approved the sale of chicken made from animal cells, allowing two California companies to offer lab grown meat to the nation's restaurant tables and eventually supermarket shelves. The Agriculture Department gave the green light to Upside Foods and Good Meat, firms that have been racing to be the first in the U.S. to sell meat that doesn't come from slaughtered animals. What's now being referred to as a cell cultivated or cultured meat as it emerges from the laboratory and arrives on dinner plates. Huh. So it's the animal, but it's not a dead animal, I guess. So I guess this would have to be a type of situation where the animal is in fact alive, and I guess through some means they extract DNA or cells from whatever animal and do some other process versus actually cutting the meat once an animal is dead, cutting it down, cleaning it, doing different things, cooking it, frying it, whatever, what have you. But it's just through a different way. One uses fire, I guess, and then this one is in a lab. I don't, huh? I don't know. I just find it interesting because going back to those news articles about the fires, check this out, right? Look at this. So the Wall Street Journal. Okay, come on. FDA clears California. Oh no, this is what we talked about. Yeah, yeah. 100,000 eggs laying hens die in massive farm fire in Connecticut. This was earlier this year. About 100,000 egg-laying hens were killed in a large poultry farm in Connecticut, officials say. A chicken house at Hillendale Farms in Bosra a rural southeastern town, caught fire on Saturday, January 28th, according to a statement from Hillendale Farms. 100,000 egg-laying hens died. Okay, this is earlier this year. Let me see something. Okay, last year, tens of thousands of chickens killed in Wright County egg farm fire. Massive flames burned down a barn with tens of thousands of chickens in Wright County. The fire started late Saturday night as Forsman Farms in Howard Lake, causing major damage. The Trebesh family thought they would spend Saturday night around their bonfire, but just after 10 p.m., they noticed massive flames across the field at Forsman Farms. It was unbelievable how quick it grew. It was insane. It was the whole squad. It was the whole sky. It was large. Sheesh. So that's another tens of thousands of chickens. Just stay with me. Just look at the projection through history. Right. Same year, another 34,000 chickens die in farm fires in North Carolina, Virginia. Investigators think up to 34,000 chickens were killed during two separate poultry farm fires in North Carolina and Virginia within a day of each other. Okay, so we're seeing that this is an occurrence, right? We're seeing that this is happening often. Farms being burned down and, chickens dying. Then here, but this stuff has been happening as early as 2011. Massive fire erupts at Maryland chicken farm. Firefighters from various fire companies throughout Delaware and Maryland responded to a four-alarm fire Monday evening that ultimately destroyed 4 buildings at the ISE America Chicken Farm in Selleton, Maryland. According to spokesperson at the Selleton Volunteer Fire Company, the first alarm went out around 7:20. I mean, how many chicken farm fires does one have to go to before you start really thinking like, hey, this is happening more and more. This is like a rare occurrence. But also look at this. I've also found some information that Bill Gates actually thinks that, Western societies should actually ditch slaughtered animals and, in fact, take this synthetic meat. So we have U.S. just being approved right now for those companies to actually grow the cultivated or cultured meat. We have a history of fires occurring at farms where chickens are massively, killed. And we also have Bill Gates endorsing the use and sale of synthetic meats. Let me pull up the article here. Bill Gates wants Western countries to eat synthetic meat. Meatable has raised $47 million to make it. Now this is in 2021. Right? This was in 2021. In a recent interview discussing Bill Gates' recent book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, the Microsoft and Breakthrough Energy founder advocated for citizens of the richest countries in the world to switch diets consisting entirely of what he called synthetic meat in an effort to curb greenhouse gas emissions. Gates' call is being met by startups and public companies hailing from everywhere from Amsterdam, Tel Aviv, London, Los Angeles, Berkeley, Chicago. 2 of the most funded companies in the lab-grown meat market hail from the Netherlands, where Mosa Meat and Meatable just announced $47 million in new financing. The company aims to have its first product approved by European regulators by 2023 and notching commercial sales by 2025. Look at this, guys. The US has just approved, this synthetic meat, right? From animal cells. So it's still from the animal, just produced or brought forth in a different way than most people are accustomed to. But it's still the animal. That's their, logic. That's what they, are saying. Then we also have an interesting history of fires occurring at farms where thousands, hundreds of thousands of chickens perish. We also have Bill Gates, who, created Microsoft, who's a major investor in synthetic meats, vaccines, or different things like that, who believes that, Western countries are the richest countries should switch diets to more so eat synthetic meats. I told you guys in the beginning, I used to be what I'd like to call vegan and stuff like that, but I've grown to understand that in life, everything is about balance. But I also do believe that you should, move forward or prefer a plant-based diet. But I will never be in a situation where if it's me or like I'm starving and there's like what chicken, beef or something, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm a vegan. I'm not gonna eat to sustain myself. I'd be a fool to not use that for survival. But I understand the philosophy of it. Why would you intentionally eat something that's dead inside of you, a living being, when in fact you should really eat things that are living so they can continue to grow within you? I understand both philosophies, and what I'm here to say is have balance. I don't know too much about synthetic meats, okay? I don't know really a lot about that, but they're saying that it's coming from animals, but just produced in a different way. Everything is already GMO, everything is already processed anyway. So does this make any difference? How do you know when you go to a restaurant that they're not going to be giving you cultured meat versus the meat that you're used to? What if this has a kind of a financial advantage to serve this versus real meat? Because remember, one of the articles said, or Bill Gates said that, to curb greenhouse emissions. Because their argument is, well, in order to actually kill these chickens, kill cattle, all these different things, it actually causes a lot of smoke to go into the sky, causing climate change and different things like that. So that's why they're even promoting this, to stop the emissions from smoke of killing animals, like a slaughterhouse, different things like that, because I guess it causes a lot of smoke and things like that. So that's their argument. But why don't you guys let me know what you guys think? Comment down how you feel about this push for synthetic meat. If you were in the restaurant and you just wanted like a steak, if you just wanted like a chicken sandwich or whatever, would you be okay with it if it was cultured or cell cultivated? Would you be okay with that? Would they have to disclose the information to you prior before you can order that, or would you just be okay with it being a surprise? Or if you're not for it, let me know why. Or tell me if these guys are crazy, because I'm trying to figure out myself. But as always, it's you and I verse for a reason. I teach you, you teach me. We take what we taught each other and apply to what's going on. Please hit like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Keep your eyes open. Peace. Elevated when I get to the penthouse. On top and on my own, I feel like I'm Moses. In spiritual science, you know I'm devoted. I'm pulling your rank, you got the motive. I just want the money, I don't want the fame. It's you and I.